Hi. Okay, so it is November 1st. I'm going to do one more collective reading, I think. What I did this time is I did intuitive splits just to get started. And I'm still going to shuffle and look at other cards. But, yeah, I just wanted to get an initial energy from all of this. So in the Lenormand, we have 6 of clubs. We also have 36, wow, which gives us a 9. And of course we have the cross. So something to bear. But the 6 of wands, the 6 of clubs being the 6 of wands. The 9 of proving yourself to everyone. And but the recognition of the 6 of wands. There's an awful lot of accomplishment in this card. In the Aboriginal Spirit deck, and underneath that we have the whip reversed. So there's something abusive that's past. It's over. We have compassion. That's been a recurring theme for several reads now. And what I'll do is I won't read from the books for the oracles unless we get to a point where it's like, wow, this would, they'll know if I should read from them. But we'll just get the vibe and then we'll shuffle and we'll get from Wild Kuan Yin. We have It's Never Too Late. Okay, and we have some mother energy underneath that. We have the King of Pentacles. So for me, this is 10th house energy, which means it's Capricorn energy for me. Career energy, reputation energy, obvious and deep magic, deep earth. The way that the 5D and the 3D come together. I think earth energy often gets, even though it's in charge of the fairy world, Taurus rules it, but I would say all earth signs rule it. There's nothing less magic or less spiritual about earth energy than any other of the elements. So deep magic in this card as well. In the Divine Doors for initial energy, we have Change Beckons. The path is shifting. The road leads a new way. Do not be alarmed as change beckons today. In my little animal deck, regular cards, in the upright we have 5 of cups, 5 of hearts. So necessary change again, Scorpio energy. And then in Susan Sheppard's, and these are Mel Brown's Aboriginal Spirit deck oracle. This is Susan Sheppard's Phoenix Oracle, Phoenix deck, Phoenix cards, and this is the Celtic Mirror. So if anything Celtic speaks to you right now, it is also a 15, which gives us a 6, which is a gift. All right, so let's turn those over. We'll get those shuffled. We'll get into Pamela Colman Smith. I need to dedicate this reading. I just found out last night, I'm late to the party, to a story that happened in 2015 when I broke away from watching Ghost Adventures. I broke away from watching Ghost Adventures after they went to Ireland, and I knew that Ireland could break them. And sure enough, they split up not long after. But so I didn't catch when Debby and Mark Constantino passed in 2015. After Zach Baggins, the host, God, he's got me doing it now. He doesn't even pronounce his name the same way. But Zach had bought a house that was under demon possession, and he made a film about it. It took him a few years. The film, anyway, I think the difficulty is that Debby, as soon as I was watching the film, my son wanted to watch it. Finally, and I love Ghost Adventures because they kept my son going when he was young through all his trials and tribulations by knowing that there were neat people that pursue spiritual experiences with ghosts. He could accept ghosts. And Debby contacted Zach about the house. And as soon as he mentioned that Debby had contacted him about it, I was like, yes, if there's anybody that can deal with it, Debby. Debby can, she's got such a pure energy to her. And I said, yes, Debby. And then within a couple of minutes, I found out that within, I guess, a few weeks of her contacting Zach, she'd had problems in her marriage with Mark already, but I do believe that whatever was in that house attached itself, because within a few weeks, Mark killed her and himself and another of her roommates in a hostage situation. And I know that they had so many years experience fighting these things. I've been through not exactly the same situation myself, but similar circumstances. And so I really like to dedicate this reading to at least, well, if not to both of them, but I don't want to, I'm going to find out, see if I can find out what the situation is with Mark at this point, but very definitely with Debby. And so there's an interesting energy around this read, but I need to do it. And let's get into it. We've got good energy on the table. Very interesting energy. So if Debby and Mark, if you want to be with us tonight, if there's anything to say, I'm sure you'll let me know. And I'm going to keep this card out. I'll keep these handy just so that we don't have to go wondering and repeating ourselves. That's what I'll do. And we'll get into the tarot. Of course, Pamela. Thank you, Pamela. Okay, I'll be right ready to go in a second here. So there's Debby and there's Mark. Just wanted to show them off for a moment. Mark had neat things to say once upon a time, and I know how it gets when demons get to you. So I don't want to totally discredit and not believe that he wasn't struggling because of that. And here, good old Nick. Love Nick Groff from Ghost Adventures Once Upon a Time. But Nick left after some point after the Ireland trip. So, thank you, Debby. Especially. Back in the day before I knew exactly how heavy I was going to be getting into dealing with helping murder victims and victims of violent death. Here we go. Alright, let's get another wild Kuan Yin, please. And then we'll get some more doors. This is Alana Fairchild's deck. The paintings are by a Chinese painter. I have him usually listed in the description. The link to information about him. The scenes are from Tibet. Nothing yet. Oh. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. Okay, I'll read it out after. But here, just get a feel for how. Kuan Yin is the youngest one. She always presents as the youngest. Beautiful story of Kuan Yin. Her energy. Alright. So let's put her there. Next to my collie pendant. And let's see what doors we want to go through. definitely. It's sideways. We'll remember that. Temple door. Okay. I'll hold it up. No, here, I'll hold it up. Now. Okay, so all that stonework. Everything fits. Everything has to support each other's weight. But master craftsmanship that holds up. Absolutely. Layers. Tone on tone again. Any other doors we're going to go through? Okay. Sideways again. Oh, even upside down. Okay. So emphasis on stonework. Great deal of accomplishment there, it looks like. I can't even... Maybe I'll be able to get it in a still photograph, but look at the detail work in the stones. Yeah. Okay. Any other door? Okay. Yes, yes. I like to get 3 doors. Oh, we had this door either last time or the time before. There was something that I missed saying about it. Half shade, half sun. You need both. You can get burnt by the sun, right? And you can get too cold in the dark. But you need both to make a picture. So there isn't dark and light do not belong. They're not equal to bad and good, as I always say. Dark and light are on a spectrum. Good and evil are not. And long history of equating dark to bad through word meanings that need to be changed, undone. Well, you can't undo history. But, so yeah. Okay. Very interesting. Alright, those are our doors to go through. Let's get some ancestral energy, or past life energy, whichever you prefer, to consider. Let's get that from Susan's Phoenix cards. Get one card from here. These are not, this is not how she means to use. She doesn't mean to shuffle the cards this way, but I kind of like to. And remember, we've already started with the mirror. I might come back to it. The Celtic mirror. Okay. Want me to do a split? Or just, there we go. Okay, it's definitely the Celtic mirror. Okay. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough, Susan. Thank you, Susan. Susan passed April 19th. God only knows where she is now. I'm sure she's not aiming to stay put, but she has a girl. She's got a 22 or 23-year-old girl on Earth here who needs her company and support. So, probably sticking close to her kid. And now for the wonderful Mel Brown's Aboriginal Spirit. Mel Brown is in what we call Australia, She probably doesn't call it Australia. What would her cards? She works through her ancestors. She has many decks. So, okay, oh, to the floor. To the floor. Sideways. Ah, okay, echoing the door we have achievement. And interesting, yes, echoing that stonework, yeah. So something sacred, some sacred rite of passage, right? But obviously the achievement that I was seeing and here, yeah. And we'll read it out after. This is got this green energy, right? And that's 15. That doesn't have a number. Okay, so that's how we start. Let's get into the tarot. Beautiful. Okay, let's focus in. Let's check the card at the back. Ooh, Knight of Wands, and we'll just check our focus on that. Knight of Wands, Leo energy. Betting on yourself. Betting on yourself. Alright, now I've shuffled this already, so let's just see. Wow. Off the table, on the table. I do a geomancy thing of it matters in what direction the cards hit the table, yeah? No, the geomancy was done with cards. It's not done with cards, but Eight of Wands reversed, no communication. Taking us back to the Seven of Wands, standing your ground and transforming, but definitely silence. And something in process. Now either it has a long ways to go or not too long to go. It's got a ways to go. Alright, so some spiritual fulfillment here. An Ace of Cups. A beginning. It's not squaring off with these 8 wands. It's not squaring off with the communication. It's like it's a sextile. It's really quite not even. It's 45-degree angle is what it is, but okay, well, it has a ways to go. Cancerian energy, cardinal energy, starting something, versus mutable energy. This energy is dependent on more than yourself. This is energy that's dependent on, like for me, this is Sagittarius 9th house energy. And mutable means dependent on the actions of others as much as your own actions. So there's only so much you can do. You do your part and the other has to do their part, or the others have to do their parts. And there's a spiritual fulfillment here dependent on that. Okay. There's also a balance, like there's a zero tolerance policy in Cancer's 4th house of any toxic behavior. This I found out by studying Cancer's house for a month in my astrology workbook series. And it will take years, and I don't think most people understand that until you actually do just experience things the way that I do it scientifically, then you find out what you don't expect to find out. And so, yeah, no, there's this zero tolerance policy. So there's something possibly that's toxic. Definitely needs healing. Could just be a sense of happiness that needs to be regained. Okay, so we have another contrasting energy. And it's bridging, right? Like it fell right there. Okay, there she goes again. This lady has been pulling some massive stunts over the last few months, and I've finished documenting them. She actually jumped through my cards in a Taurus reading, Gemini, I want to say the supermoon reading. She jumped out of Tarot Victoria's hand a couple of weeks ago, and then she was missing from one of Victoria's readings altogether. So Victoria went looking for her in the deck. Not that Victoria doesn't do that with several cards anyway, but no, okay. Mastermind thinking. For me, this is the 11th house. And we have 2 8s. So this thinking, but this thinking is near reverse, taking us back to the 7 of Swords. Prevention, but transformation. So we have a lot of transformation going on here. We have to go back. We're backtracking. We're backtracking. How does that happen? How do we get to the 8? Or we're not there yet. We haven't reached 8 yet. We're on our way to 8. 8. See, for me, she's the Houdini card. I don't always see that these swords are swords that she's put there for herself. I don't see that she's always done this to herself, because I think a lot of readers follow law of attraction, and in law of attraction, there is no devil. Now, for me in my work with murder victims, with cult survivors, and just my own personal experiences, absolutely, there is evil. So it's entirely possible that these swords are put there by other people and entities. And because we're at mastermind levels here, because we are in the 8, 9, 10, which to me correlates, because I do housework in astrology, that correlates to the work of the basically the career, the professional houses, 9, 10, 11, 12. So yes, so Aquarius energy, Sagittarius energy, Jupiter energy, the wheel is involved in this one. Moon, obviously, moon cycles obviously involved in this one. And for here we have Uranus and a touch of Saturn. Or Urania, as I like to think now. Uranus' granddaughter. Because the star card is actually Urania. If you get into Hermetics. So she is needing to pull this Houdini trick off that she's been pulling off for months now in readings. Anything else? It's kind of, I'm tempted to put him back in the deck. And this could be the same person. This could all be one person. But here we do have a King of Cups in reverse. His cup is completely upside down. if the communication is down between these two. And the growth, the transformation, the spiritual growth is towards her. He's absolutely in reverse. Now, 12th house Pisces for me is Pisces, but Pisces wears all the crowns. This king is almost more king for me than the emperor, because 12th house is all houses. 12th sign is all signs. Pisces has the ability to think like every other sign and act like every other sign. And 12th house carries the concerns of every other house. So they're basically 12. They're 2 fish and 12 faces of Pisces. So you can be very analytic in Pisces energy. It is not right to say that it's all just emotional, muse, escapist energy. It isn't. It's actually the most mastermind energy. The problem is it's so mastermind that, yes, the problem is not wanting to do anything because you can't see the reason to do it. Been there, done that. Lived it over and over and over and over again. So when the king is down, I would say it's basically a matter of a huge universal overhaul to get the king upright again. I'll see if there's any more from the tarot, but I might go to Lenormand. Okay, wow. Okay. So, somebody else in exactly the same... Look at that. Somebody else in exactly the same position, making exactly this, is helping. For me, this is Virgo energy. Knight of Pentacles, the slowest moving knight, but the knight you can trust, the knight that gets things finished. Long ways to go. Today was the last day of my work on Virgo's house in astrology, in my astrology workbook. And we just finished, the sun just left Virgo. Sun's in Virgo for about a month and a half. Two very interesting stars in Virgo, Purima and Spica. Spica is the Chitra Nakshatra. So I tend to think of it more as Chitra now. And that is the star of the great architect, who is so famously invoked by the Great White Brotherhood. Purima is one of a trio of sister energies, prophetess energies, which takes us to the Delphi Oracle, which is the African prophetesses. Purima, I'm trying to remember the names of the two sisters. They have their maternity festivals in January, a few days apart from each other. My son was conceived exactly during between their festival dates. The idea is that in Virgo you have, and Purima's at Virgo's elbow, and Spica, Chitra, is in the sheaf of grain that she's holding. But what I sense from this, so I'm going to go to Lenormand and see what energy, because definitely 3 people involved, it seems. We had compassion. We had the road changing. He's on the road. He's moving. He is moving. She's moving, he's moving, not moving. This is moving. This is down. So we have 2 cards of down. Communication is down here. Down between, it's off. Different story here. Anything, Letterman. Okay, squaring off the gentleman with the Ace of Hearts. The Ace of Cups. So we have Ace of Cups again. 2, wow. So really heavy duty spiritual. And we had the cross at the beginning. What did I say? So the acknowledgement, a 9 of proving yourself to everyone. The heavy duty accomplishment, yes. And we have achievement. This gentleman is a person, definitely. We have a 28, which gives us a 10, which gives us the beginning and the end. It's squaring off. It's squaring off like it's at a 90-degree angle, yes, with this king and with these 8 wands. Which means it's applying friction, it's applying pressure. It is, so this spiritual, this Ace of Cups, which could be God, obviously, because there's not going to be unintelligence behind this. So, is it a person or is it God? I'm going to say it's spirit. So the Holy Spirit is pushing. The Holy Spirit is making to move. And that's what I feel about this Virgo energy. It can go either way. It can go towards being extremely spiritual or completely unto itself, depending on which star in Virgo is influencing more. Both are necessary. But yes, it's squaring off against the communication as well. So it is putting pressure. It's making change happen. Okay? And it's with this gentleman. So whether this gentleman is this knight or this king. Our 8 of Swords, she's very surrounded. But we do have the Knight bringing in the new begin, the work, the magic. Okay, I guess that's all that we don't want to see. Oh, one more card. Okay, and it's squaring off as well. It is completely sideways. Wow. Now, what's interesting, okay, so we have the Sun and we have the Ace of Coins, the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Diamonds. We have a 31, which gives us a 4 of stability. Now, what's so interesting, they are opposing each other. They need to be reconciled together. These two things, when things oppose, they need to achieve together. One cannot achieve without the other. So stability cannot be achieved without this beginning and this ending. And happiness Okay. Do the animals want to say anything? Yep. Quick, quick. All right. It is King in this direction. King of Wands with the plan, knowing the direction, knowing the direction. That's great. Okay, so we have two kings on the table. We have a knight. Now the knight does the king's bidding. But see, this king is opposing this gentleman. This king is in the same direction as the sun, as the stability. And he's squaring off with this king. It could be this king's inner sense, inner desires. Absolutely. And that's applying pressure to change. Well, this king has protection. Thank you to Minnow Pond for clarifying that. Chris, he's always reminding that the Queen of Wands doesn't have the salamander, the lizard or salamander of protection, the fire protection. But the king does, the knight does, the page. So the king is protected from what burns. But I thought they were lizards of revelation. So, you know, that's from my books. But this king definitely has the plan, knows what direction to take things in. But he is technically stuck. He is stuck. And maybe that's where this king, this Pisces that can be all kings, yes? And he's stuck on knowing where to go. He's stuck knowing where to go. He or she. It could be you. Because this gentleman is stuck. Everybody's stuck. Everybody's got a long ways to go. Why? What happened? Well, I know who can tell me what happened. Mel. Okay, hang on.